to the Roulette Master TV, where we go back in time to reveal unbelievable roulette systems of the past. Today's system is called the Perfect Roulette System, and one of my subscribers says he named it that because it is the best. And I can't wait to share it with you, and let's jump right in and get started. This is the Roulette Master, and I'm so excited today to introduce to you what my subscriber John says is called the Perfect Roulette System. He says this is as good as it gets, and I can't wait to share with you this incredible new roulette system. Today, we're going to put it up against another unbelievable system. This is Kentucky White's Moving Corners in the head-to-head matchup. We're going to go with that first, and I can't wait to see which one of these incredible roulette systems makes the most money in 15 minutes. So let's get started with Moving Corners by Kentucky White, and let's place those bets. You can start with any two corners that you want, and we're going to move them around with this one. You can see we have a zero balance. Let's spin. This is a $10 starting bet here with 5 on each, and here we go. That's a 25 red, and we lost that one. And with Moving Corners, you just add one more corner, and then you just spin again. Now we're at a $15 bet, and we have 12 numbers covered. Let's see what we get on this one. That's an 18 red. And that's a nice win. Fantastic. So we're up $20, and we're just going to pick two corners again. We'll pick those two and get started, and we're going to keep moving those around. Here we go. That's a 15 black, and we lost that one. So let's add another corner in and then spin. Again, we can add that corner wherever we want, and we're going to move them around some, and that's a 34 red. That's another loss. Now, it's really important to remember with this system that once you get to 4 corners, you're going to go ahead and double the bet. So we're going to go from 20 to 40, and now all of a sudden we have 16 numbers covered. And that's a 30 red. Okay, we lost again, so we're going to add another corner. And then we're going to double, but we need to add this corner in at 10 because the rest are already at 10, and then we're going to double. So then we're going to go from 50 to 100. And spin. Now we have a really good chance of hitting this. Okay, that's a 23 red. And we got the win. Fantastic. So we're up $35. We'll just pick 2 corners again and spin. And actually, let's go ahead and let's pick these 2 right here. And make sure they don't overlap. That's really important. And we'll start on that right side this time, down on the lower right, and it hits top left. That's okay, though. We're going to add another corner. And we can add it anywhere we want. Let's go ahead and add one right here and spin. And now we have the 12 numbers covered again. And here we go. That's a 1 red, and it's hitting that far left side. So let's go ahead and we'll add one more in. And let's add it over here. I think we'll probably get a hit on the right side here soon. Let's find out. And here we go. That's a 9 red, and it hasn't happened yet. So we're going to add another corner. But remember, we have to add this one in at 10 because the rest have already been doubled to 10. And then we double the bet from 50 to 100. And now all of a sudden we have a really good chance of hitting it. And here we go. That's a 31 black. And there's our win. And we're up $50. So let's pick 2 corners again. Let's go top right this time. And spin. See if we can get a number up there on the top right side. That's a 15 black, and that's a loss. Let's add one more corner in, and then spin. We don't double the bet till we get to 4 corners or 16 numbers, and that's a 30 red. That's a nice win. If you can win with less numbers, that's great, and we're already up $70. Let's go ahead and we'll do these 2 right here. Okay, let's go ahead and spin. That's a 12 red, and that's a loss, so we'll add one more corner. But just make sure that they don't overlap if you start doing them like this, and then just spin again, and let's see what we get here. All right, that's a 17 black, and I believe that's another loss. It was close, but we didn't get it, so now we're going to have to add in another corner and double. So let's go ahead and do that, and now we're going to be at a $40 bet there. And let's make sure that's right. 5, 10, 15, 20, and then you double to 40. Okay, let's go ahead and spin. Let's see what we get here. And that's a 3 red. That's not where we needed it. So we're going to add a 5th one. And remember when we add the fifth one that we added in at 10, and then we double everything, and then spin, and then now we have 20 numbers covered. So you have a really good chance of hitting it. And that's a 23 red. Okay, and you can see when you get further along, you're going to win. So basically, you have a much better chance of winning the more that you lose, if that sounds okay to you. And we're up $85, and let's try that again. Okay, let's go ahead and spin. And it'd be great if we could hit one of these with just 8 numbers. But let's see what we get here. That's a 28 black. We just missed it, so let's go ahead and add another one. And spin. And here we go. With Kentucky White's moving corners. I can't wait to see how much this one makes, and then we'll get to that new system of the day. And can't wait for that. So we will add a fourth one in now, and then double. Okay, now we're at that $40 total bet again. And here we go. That's a 12 red. And we lost again. So we're going to have to go ahead and add this fifth one in at $10. And then double. And then now we have a really good chance of hitting because we're at that 20 number spot again. So we have more covered than not. And that's a 35 black. And there's our win. So we're currently up $100. We'll pick 2 corners again here. And let's pick those 2 and spin. See if we can get a win with just 2 corners here eventually. That's a 24 black. And we did not get it. So let's go ahead and add another one in. And then we'll go ahead and spin at $15 total bet, 12 numbers covered. And here we go. That's an 8 black. And we got it. That's a good one. So we're up $120. And you can see if you win with 12 numbers, that really pays a lot more. So let's go ahead now and let's start, how about right here in the middle? Okay, let's go ahead and spin. And here we go. That's a 20 black. Okay, that's a $35 win. That's what I'm talking about, guys. Now we're up $155. And people always, a lot of times people ask Kentucky White, why do you start with only 2? It's because when you actually do hit those 2, it really pays. Let's start with the 2 in the center on the bottom this time. And we're already up $155 with moving corners. And here we go. That's a 13 black. And we did it back to back. How about that, guys? And we're up $190 now. So that is incredible. Let's go ahead and let's start with these 2 right here. And spin. All right, let's see what we get. That's a 15 black. Okay, we lost that one, so let's add another corner. We'll add that one right there and spin. Now we have 12 numbers covered, so this would still be a good payday if we got one of these. And that's a 34 red. So that's another loss. We'll go ahead now and we'll add another one in. And then we add that one in, and then we double. So we go from 20 to 40 and spin. And here we go. That's a 00. We definitely don't want that, but it happens sometimes. So when that happens, you just go ahead and add one more. But remember, since we doubled, that we're going to be adding this one in at 10 instead of 5. And then we're going to double. And now we have a really good chance of hitting. If we don't hit this one, we'll just add one more. But the next one will need to be added in a little higher. And that's a 10. And we got our win. So if we do have to add another one in, you just add the next one in where the rest of them are, just like we've been doing. We're already up $205. And you just have to make sure you do that before you double. So let's go ahead and spin. We've got 2 of them out there. And cruising along right now with moving corners from Kentucky White. That's a 36 red. How about that? And that is, oh, I'm sorry. I thought we won that one. Sorry about that, guys. I thought I put one on there, but that's all right. That happens sometimes when you're playing. You're like, man, you know what? Just like the same way you're surprised sometimes if you get a win and you don't realize you bet on something. That's a 25 red. And we missed it again. Let's add the 4th one in. And then we're going to double to 40 and spin. Now, all of a sudden, we have 16 numbers covered again. Again, the more losses you have, the better chance you have of winning. And that's a 9 red. So that's a loss. And we're going to add the 5th one in. And remember that we add that in at 10 instead of 5. And then double. And then let's see if we can get a win here. If not, we'll add another one in. Ooh, that's a bad loss there on 00. That's unlucky, but that's 2 00s in this session. So now if you look at these, you can see we have 20 on each. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to add this last one in at 20 before we double. So let's go ahead and do that and spin. And let's see what we get here. So now we have 24 numbers covered. And that's a 32 red. Okay, that's a nice $120 win. So we're up $160. We're just going to go back. And you can take a little bit of a setback on those ones because you're making so much on the rest of these. And only put these back at $5 bets. And let's try the ones in the center again here. And actually, let's do this one and that one again and see if we can hit those. That was good luck last time. So let's see if we can do that. That's a 4 black. And that's a loss. Let's go ahead and add another one in. And then spin. See if we can get a win here. And here we go. That's a 27 red. That's a nice $30 win. We're up 180. And let's go ahead and go back to 2 again. Let's try the ones on the bottom again. And spin. And sometimes when you get to the 6 corners, I used to, try to get more than one win to get back, into a lot more profit. But then I realized that it's actually better to just go ahead and reset on that. So we're going to add our third one in there. You can see we lost $10 on that last one. And spin. And here we go. And a lot of the systems that really are safe have small setbacks in them and cycling. And that's a nice one there with 12 numbers. We're back up 200 again. So that's why it's it's so important to realize that you don't have to always be moving forward. You can take small setbacks as long as in general you're winning more than you're losing. And that's a nice one there. That's a $35 win. Now we're back up 235. So let's go ahead and pick 2 more and spin. And here we go. Because the problem is when you have that many losses, and you try to get more than you should, sometimes you get in trouble. And that's another nice one there. We're already up 270 again. So you can see it wasn't really that necessary that we, once we get to 6 corners, that we try to get way ahead again, because at that point you're trying to protect your bankroll. And that's a $10 loss. Let's go ahead and add one more and spin. And here we go. That's a 16 red. Okay, that's a $15 loss. We'll add one more. Let's add this one and spin. Oh, I'm sorry. We needed to double that one. I made a mistake there, guys. That's a 19 red. Okay, we'll just do it on the next one. So now we're going to go ahead and these should have all went to 10. And then we're going to add a 5th one in at 10 and then double. Okay, let's go ahead and spin and see if we can get a win here. If you do make a mistake, just jump right back on board and you'll be just fine. There's another loss. So again, now we're going to go back to 6, and these are going to come in at 20 instead of 10 because we had previously doubled. Then we're going to go ahead and double that bet. So let's do that and spin. And here we go. And the reason why I think it's important that you reset after a win is because you're not that far away from getting in trouble. And you can see we're still up 245. Let's go ahead and reset. So let's go back to our $5 bets and spin. Remember, the number one goal is always protecting the bankroll and moving forward with your profits. And sometimes you have to cycle a little bit and go a little bit down before you go back up. And that just makes it a little bit safer. You're not taking as many chances at a high bet amount. And that's a 34 red. Okay, that's a loss. Another way you can do that as well, and we're going to go ahead and double this time since we didn't do it the last time, is you could just get rid of 6 and go back to 5 as well. But it's a lot safer just to reset. And we lost that one. So we're going to add the 5th one in at 10 and then double and spin. All right, we're coming down the stretch here, the last minute with moving corners. Let's see how we do and if we get through this one. So that's another loss. So we're going to go to 6 again. Remember, we add this one in at 20 instead of, because that's where the rest of them already are, and then we double up. And the reason why we don't go for a lot of wins here, we're at a 240 bet level out of a $2,000 bankroll. So it's really important that once we get a win, then we go ahead and reset. Now we have to double again. Now we're at 480. And that's what I'm talking about is it's not worth it to chase it at a high bet amount. And there's a 17 black. So that's a good $240 win. However, now all of a sudden, this is when you want to make an adjustment because we basically have too much out. I mean, we have, excuse me, we dropped all the way back down to $80. So if it's a small setback, that's okay. If you drop back this much, I would remove the one that just hit and then go ahead and try to get one more win. We still have 5 of them. So let's go ahead and spin. And let's see if we can get a win here and make a ton of profit here right as we finish. That's a 9 red. And we got it. That's a $320 win. And we made $400 profit in this session now. Now, you don't have to be that aggressive either. You could have cut that bet in half. So there's a couple different ways you can play this. But if you do get to that 6 corners and you get a win, I would reset and take a small loss. But you know, there's a couple different ways you can play it, like I was saying. When we take that one off, you know, we could have cut the bets in half to be a little bit safer, but it worked out for us, and we made $400 profit in 15 minutes. Thank you, Kentucky White, for this system. And now it is time for the incredible new system of the day. I know you guys are excited about that. Let's jump right in and get started with that one. See if it can make more than $400 in the next 15 minutes. Here we go. All right, the time is finally here for the perfect roulette system. I can't wait to see how much money we make with this one in the next 15 minutes. This is exciting, and let's place the bets. And we're going to be looking at the last number, that 20, and we're going to stay out of the second 12 on the dozen bets on this one. So we're going to go 15, 15, and then we're going to put a corner that's in that 12 that just hit that does not include the one that hit last. So we're going to go ahead and put a $5 bet there. And we're going to spend. This is a $35 total bet. And here we go. And this is going to be great. I think this is going to really make a lot of money. And let's find out. Okay, that's a $10 win. So we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to put $15 on the 2 dozens that didn't hit. And then we're going to put a $5 bet that does not include the last number that hit in that dozen. So let's go ahead and spin again. And let's see what we get here. And I can't wait to share with you what happens once we get some wins after losses on this one. And that's a $10 win. So we're up $20. And now we'll be on first 12 and second 12 for 15. And then we're going to pick one that does not include the 31. We're up $20. Let's go ahead and spin. And here we go. That's a 27 red. Okay, and that's a loss. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and double the bet. Okay, we're going to go from 35 to 70 and spin. And then here we go. Let's see what we get on this one. That's a 16 red. Okay, we got the win. So here's what we're going to do now. You can see we're only up $5, and that's because we're not done yet. What we're going to do now is we're going to remove the 12 that just hit here. Okay. And then on this one over here, you can see we have $10 on that corner. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and we're going to place another $10 bet in the third 12. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. And we're going to leave the one that just hit open there and then spin again at $50. All right, here we go. And it's going to be different if we actually hit the corner that's by itself. And we'll get to that here in a second. That's a nice $40 win. So now we're at 45. We restart. So 15, 15, and then pick a 5 that's not a corner bet that's not including the 32 and spin. And again, it's going to be different if we hit the corner bet that's not the one that's not in the dozen there. So that's a win, and we're up 55. So unless you have a loss, you don't go into phase 2. So we're going to go 15 and 15, and then we'll put a 5 over here and spin. But we'll cover all of it as we go through. I think this is going to do really, really well. and that's a 34 red. That's a nice win. We're up $65, and we'll be on first and second for 15. And then we'll put a $5 bet that does not include the 34. Again, we're already up $65, and I think you're going to really get the hang of this one. And I think it's going to do fantastic. That's a 25 red. Okay, so we hit the corner there. Fantastic. We're up $75. But if you hit that corner after a loss, that's going to change things, and we'll get to that here pretty soon. So let's go. Let's hit 15, 15. And then we're not going to include the 25 there. And let's spend. But we'll get to that once we have some losses here. And here we go. That's a 9 red. All right, fantastic. Another $10 win. We're up $85. 15, 15, and then 5 that does not include the 9. And spin. And picking up profit with almost every spin here. This is awesome. And that's a 25 red. Another win. So now we'll be on first and second for 15 each. And then we're going to pick a corner that does not include the last number that hit. We're already up $95. And I'm really, really enjoying this one so far. And I think it's going to do great, but we'll find out. That's why we're testing these things out, is to see. And that's a good win there. So we'll go 15, 15, and then a $5 bet on a corner that does not include the 12. We're up $105. All right, so far so good. And here we go. That's a 00. So we lost that one. So we're just going to double up the bet from 35 to 70 and spin. And that's a 22 black. Okay, and we got the win. So that was a win after a loss. So what do? We go ahead and, again, let's look here. You had there's 10 on that corner. We did not hit that. We hit the second 12, so we removed that. But then we place a $10 bet on another corner in the first 12. So let's go ahead and do that. And then spin at $50 total bet. And here we go. That's a 28 black. And we got the win. So we start over. But once we have a loss there, I'll share with you what to do next. We're already up $130. So 15, 15, and then a corner that does not include the 28. And let's spin. And here we go. Because there's a really good way to deal with that. And we'll get to it. That's an 8 black. That's another win. We'll put 15 on second, 15 on third. And then a $5 bet on a corner that does not include the last number that hit. We're already up $140, and here we go. Okay, that's a 33 black. That's a nice win. We're up $150 now. We'll be on first and second, 12 for 15. And we'll add a 5, not including the 33. And let's spin. Okay, that's a 2 black. I think that's another win. It is. And now we're up $160, and we'll be on second and third. And then a corner that does not include the 2. All right, here we go. Then we'll check our balance again, see where we're at. Doing fantastic and just cruising along right now. That's a 23 red. Another nice win. But make sure you stick around for when we have multiple losses and how to deal with those. We have a lot to get into with this one, and we're up $170. And we'll put 15, 15, and then a 5 that does not include the 23 on a corner bet. And here we go. Okay, that's a 27 red. That's a nice win. We're up $180, and we'll be on first and second. And then did not include the 27 on our corner bet and spin. Here we go. That's a 25 red. That's a nice win. Okay, we're up $190. We'll be on first and second. And then a corner bet that does not include the 25. And let's spin. And that's a 16 red. Okay, really good win there. We're up $200 already. This is awesome. I'm really enjoying this system. And let's see, we'll leave out the 16 and spin. Here we go. So basically we have, let's see, it'll be 24, 20, it's 28 total numbers covered. currently, but that changes as we go throughout in the recovery process, and we'll get to all of that. And let's spin again. Really easy bet selection though, I like that, and that's a 31 black. Okay, and we hit that corner, fantastic. We're up $220, and we'll be on first and second, and then corner that does not include the last number that hit. Here we go. That's a 1 red. I think that's a win. Okay, so we're up $230, and we'll be on second and third for 15 each, and not include the 1. And we're just cruising right along with this one. This is a lot of fun. That's a 15 black. Okay, another win. We'll be on first and third now. And we'll leave out the 15 on our corner bet. We're up $240 already. Man, I'm going to be excited to use this one at the casino tonight. My goodness, that's a 15 black. Okay, now just as I say that, now we can get into this recovery process. So if you hit the, if you basically hit in the second 12 there, and you lose, well, either way, when you lose, you double up. But then once you win after you lose, well, I'll show you what to do next. Let's go ahead and spin. Because there's a couple different ways of doing it depending on whether it's the dozen or the corner. And that's a 26. Okay, so we won on the third 12 after we had a loss. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that third 12 out. Okay, and then we're going to add one more corner. And this one should be at 10. You can see it is. So we add one more corner at 10 in there. And we leave that third 12 that just hit vacant. Okay, now if we had one on the corner bet, like 13, 14, 16, 17, then we would remove that one, and then we would just go to the 2 dozens. But let's go ahead now and spin at $50 total bet. All right, here we go. That's a 31 black, and we didn't get it, so we have to double up now. This is why you need the $2,000 bankroll with this one. We're going to spin, and this is $100 total bet now. That's a 34 red. Okay, we lost again, so we have to double up again. This is why we need the bankroll, but I'm not too concerned. I think we're going to get this one, and here we go. All right. That's a 32 red. We missed it again, so we have to double up again, but we have the bankroll to do that. It's a $2,000 bankroll, and we're only at minus 125, so let's go ahead and spin. And here we go. That's a 10 black. Okay, we finally got the win. That's a $320 win, and it dropped us back to $195 profit. Now, what I would recommend on this is that you just go ahead and reset and you cycle down. Because if we take another bet off, then we're going to go to 16 numbers. So let's go ahead and clear that out and start over, because you can always build it back up. So let's go ahead now, and we'll be on second 12 for 15 and third 12 for 15, and then we're going to have a $5 bet that does not include the 10 on the first 12, and let's go ahead and spin. All right, here we go. I don't think he doesn't either, but I just wanted to kind of make that point. It's not worth it to go down below 20 numbers. So let's see, we're up 205 now. Let's go ahead and we'll be on first and third, and then we'll leave out the 20. And here we go. Let's see what we get here. Okay, that is a $35 loss there. So we're going to go ahead and double up. 35 to 70 and spin. But remember, we have 28 numbers covered here, so we have a real good chance of winning. And that's a 32 red. Okay, so now we're going to remove the one that just hit, which is the third 12. Okay, and remember that that corner's at 10, so we just add another corner at 10. And then we bet again at $50 total bet. And now we have 20 numbers covered, which is what I was talking about before. That's a 21 red, and there's our win, $40. So now we're back up $230. So we'll be on first and third. And there's another thing I need to share with you about this as well, though. We'll get to that here in a second. For instance, if you it involves whether or not if you hit the corner versus the dozens, and that's a 33 black, and that's a $10 win. Okay, we're up $240. Let's pick first and second, and then this one will have just 5 on it, not including the 33. Let's go ahead and spin, and here we go. That's an 11 black, and that's a $10 win. So we're up $250. And in the recovery process, what I was going to tell you about is if you hit a corner and it still keeps you at 20 numbers, you can continue to go if you're not in session profit. But most of the time, we're going to leave the 11 out here. It's worthwhile to reset if you just take a small setback, because look how fast we built it back up again. But the rule with this one is don't go below 20 numbers. And that's a $10 win. We're at $260. So we're going to be on first and third, and then we'll leave out the 13. Okay, so we're up $260. But again, you can see how fast it builds it back up. So really no reason to go with low coverage on this one. We're just starting out with super high coverage and working our way down to where we have 20 numbers, but only after losses. So keep that in mind as well. We're up $270, and we'll be on second and third, and then $5, not including the 6, on the first 12. All right, here we go. Let's see what we get here. That's an 8 black, and that's a win. There's a fly jumping on me here. I'm up $280, and we'll be on second and third, leaving out the 8 in the first 12. And let's get to $300 profit. That would be awesome. We're coming down the stretch here with the perfect roulette system. I really like this, but definitely play safe with this, and because you have really nice high coverage. We're up $290, and let's see. Now we'll be on first and second for 15, and then leave out the 25. And this should get us right at the 15-minute mark to our $300 profit here. Let's see if we can do that, and that's a 32 red. And we got the corner bet. Fantastic. So after 15 minutes, we made $300 with the perfect roulette system. This was a lot of fun to play. I hope you really enjoyed and use this one in the casino. But as always, practice it first and make sure that you know what to expect and all that good stuff. And really, thank you, John, for sending this one in. And thank you to everyone that's been sending all the systems in. You guys are fantastic, and really appreciate everyone's support in this search for the best roulette system possible each and every day. And I love it. I hope you guys do as well. And if you do, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let's keep growing this community of people that really love roulette. And this is the Roulette Master. And have a great day, everybody.